Coming up on WFT Midday, President Trump is now encouraging Republicans to vote to release the Epstein files after months of saying they shouldn't.
How an argument about chickens laying eggs led to a shooting in Port St. Lucie.
This cold front's bringing some cooler temperatures tonight, but don't be fooled, we're actually expecting a warm-up later this week. I'll have your full forecast. WUFT Midday starts now.
WUFT Midday.
After months of pushback, President Trump is now calling on House Republicans to vote to release the files on accused sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. This is WFT Midday. I am Oriana Torre.
And I'm Catherine Chapman. As Alice Barr reports, the House is set to vote this week on a petition to compel the Justice Department to release any documents it has in the case.
As the House prepares for a vote this week aimed at forcing the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files, President Trump changing course overnight, posting Republicans should vote to release the files because we have nothing to hide. The president has long opposed the push that he's called a hoax by Democrats.
They're using Jeffrey Epstein as a deflection from the tremendous success that we're having as a party.
While also condemning Republicans who back the bill, including Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, a longtime ally. She says she's faced threats after his recent criticism.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her.
The president, who was once friends with Epstein, denies any wrongdoing and has never been charged in connection with Epstein's sex trafficking crimes, now saying he does not care about the files' release and wants Republicans to get back on point, as the Republican and Democrat leading the charge in the House reject claims of partisanship and predict the vote will pass in a landslide.
I think we could have a deluge of Republicans. What we're asking for is justice for those survivors. So it's not about Donald Trump.
Survivors of Epstein's abuse preparing to rally at the Capitol this week, urging lawmakers to remember their stories.
I would say, please remember that these are crimes that were committed against real humans.
Pushing to move past politics to accountability. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
3 people are dead after the U.S. struck another suspected drug trafficking boat in international waters. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says confirmed the November 15 attack in the Eastern Pacific. News outlets are pushing the Trump administration to provide evidence supporting the allegations against the people aboard the boat. This is at least the 21st military strike conducted on suspected drug boats in President Trump's second term.
It's been a dry weekend across north central Florida, and it's causing an increase in fire danger across the region. UF forecaster Jadyn Waxman is live in the weather studio. Jadyn, these dry conditions will remain for much of the week.
That's exactly right, and this cold front right here is what's bringing those dry conditions along. We're getting this cool, dry air moving in right now. It's not going to stick, cool air isn't going to stick around for long, but that dry air definitely will be sticking around through the rest of the week. So outdoor burning definitely not recommended this week. 77 degrees outside right now here in Gainesville. Nice clear skies out there, looking really great. And it should stay that way for the rest of the week, too. Mostly clear skies, drier conditions. Our dew point right now at 47 degrees, so that's pretty dry. Normal's around 58 or 60 degrees for this time of year. Temperatures staying in the mid to high 70s for most of us, maybe getting into the low 80s today, but likely not surpassing that. For the rest of the day today, you can see here 1 p.m. to 4, not even eclipsing 80 degrees here in Gainesville. And then as we head into the evening, skies staying nice and clear as we continue with this dry weather. Coming up, I'll let you know more about how warm we could get. We're seeing a warm up a little bit later this week, and how you can expect some patchy fog in the middle parts of this week.
An argument over chickens and how many one can lay led to a shooting in Port St. Lucie. Authorities say it all unfolded last week outside of a pub. Police say a 44-year-old man pulled out a handgun during an argument and fired 4 shots at 3 people as they ran away. No one was hit. Officials say the 3 victims knew each other but had just met the accused shooter, Peter Riera, that night. Riera was arrested and now faces aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. A new satellite is orbiting Earth after a SpaceX launch this morning. The Falcon 9 rocket carried the Sentinel-6B satellite into orbit following its launch from California. Sentinel-6B is an ocean mapping satellite that will help measure the world's sea levels. In a press release, the European Space Agency says data shows sea levels have risen about 4 inches in the past 25 years, calling it a key consequence of climate change.
Closer to home, the vice chair of the Alachua County School Board fired back at state education leaders after publicly shaming her for a Facebook comment made about Charlie Kirk. As WFT's Jessica Wilkinson reports, Alachua County has been a key focal point for the board since the comments.
I've been horrified and outraged by the public posts and comments coming from Vice Chair Certain, posts that are egregious for anyone to make, let alone an elected school board leader.
Board Vice Chair Tina Certain was called to the November meeting by Education Commissioner Anastasios Kamoutsas after comments made about activist Charlie Kirk. She was not legally required to go to the meeting, but wanted to question the fuss the board created.
It's deeply concerning that an individual elected official is being called before an appointed board commissioner and State Board of Education for a personal social media comment that did not involve school board policy.
The board believes certain comments were out of line and questioned her ability to lead.
Your leadership continues to be a failure. You continue to not understand the point that this state board is trying to communicate to you. You are an example for these children.
Certain did not apologize for her comments, saying her right to free speech didn't disappear when she was elected.
But things don't change when you're quiet. There's several things that's on this agenda that follows me. They don't change when you're quiet.
That was Jessica Wilkinson reporting. Certain continues to receive support from her constituents, some who criticize state officials for government outreach. State leaders say they are investigating complaints regarding a pattern of failure and discrimination.
Ocala is kicking off the holiday season with Light Up the Night. This annual festival will have lots of food and live entertainment for the family. And of course, Light Up the Night isn't complete without the Junior Sunshine Parade, featuring band performances, dances, and more from kids around Ocala. It's happening this Saturday from 3 to 8 p.m. downtown.
Latin flavors, live music, and family fun filled First Magnitude Brewing Company during this year's Chicken Carnival. Local food vendors serve a variety of Hispanic dishes, giving attendees a taste of flavors from countries like Venezuela and Puerto Rico. The festival also features live performances from the Black Mango Band, who play merengue, bachata, and Latin American rock. Organizers say they hope the event continues to grow as a celebration of the area's Latin community.
It's a nice event when people can, it's a family event, when everybody can come here, enjoy food, drinks, and vendors like us.
The carnival ran from 2 to 8 p.m. celebrating community and culture. Organizers say they plan to expand the festival next year.
We cover many people's struggles, but some struggles aren't seen or heard. WFT's Haley Balgobin traveled to Orlando and met an Indian dancer who shares how she stays strong in the face of life's challenges.
A festival of lights, Diwali. A holiday celebrated with color and sound. But Divya Goel embraces the silence. Divya has been signing her whole life. She was born deaf and later learned about Usher syndrome, a rare disease that affects both vision and hearing. She views the world differently than others. The frustration of feeling unseen and unheard. Grows into loneliness. Her family members,
I know she has such a big heart,
wish they could make life easier, especially her mother Aruna. who's always helped give her a voice.
She's very lonely. And she cries. And that can hurt a mother so much.
Her support system gives her a seat at the table. Above anyone else, her sister Karen.
And she just wants to feel like she's included, part of the family. So I think that's why I feel like it's so important for me to help her.
Through the help of her family, she wove herself back into the conversation. Divya's growth will make you stop and listen.
Before, she used to be like such an angry person.
What others only dream of, she achieved.
You should have seen when we found out that she was going to meet President Obama.
In 2009, Divya was chosen as a deaf-blind leader to meet then-President Barack Obama. Her accomplishments don't stop there. She is the first deaf-blind student to be crowned Miss Florida School for the Deaf and Blind.
When she ended up winning the pageant, it was like this huge celebration.
Dancing is not just her passion. But a form of freedom.
You can see the independence in her.
It fills her with inspiration in this festival. Divya is the light.
We're going to be a little bit warmer tomorrow than we are today, but it's going to get even warmer than that. I'll have your full forecast in just a couple minutes. Stay right here.
Welcome back. We're looking at steady traffic on I-75 northbound crossing Northwest 23rd Avenue near Newberry Road with clear skies. And we'll be seeing clear skies and warmer weather for the rest of the week. Aiden.
Yeah, we're going to look at some great weather that we got coming for the rest of the week, maybe even a little bit of a warm-up. Let's get right into it. 77 degrees outside right now. Some winds from the north at about 3 miles an hour, so nothing too much to mention, but skies looking really beautiful out there. Our dew point very low, meaning the conditions are quite dry out there. Not really recommended to do any outdoor burning this week considering these dry conditions. 80 degrees here in Gainesville, our high temperature for today. I wouldn't be too surprised if we didn't eclipse the 79 degree mark though, so we'll keep an eye on that today. We'll see what happens. 79 degrees in Palatka as well, and most of us staying in the high 70s, low 80s. And we got this cold front coming through today that is really delivering some of this cooler, drier air. Now, it is a weak cold front, so it's not going to deliver any of those really cool temperatures that we saw at the beginning of last week. Those were record low temperatures as a matter of fact, but this is really just going to bring some slightly cooler weather for the night tonight, and then as we go throughout the rest of the week, we're actually going to warm up a little bit. You can see how the cold fronts are affecting our dew points or the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. You can kind of see behind the cold front, very, very dry. Ahead of the cold front, a little bit more humid there, but for the rest of us, as that cold front continues to push a little bit to the south, we're definitely going to feel more of that dry air roll into our area. Lows tonight, about 51 degrees here in Gainesville, so a little bit cooler. That's about as low as we'll go for the rest of the week, too. I mean, we're really sitting in the low 50s, and then after that, it's only going to be up from there. 0% chance of rain, just some partly cloudy skies. Really, really nice out there. 51 in Gainesville tomorrow morning, maybe getting around the high 40s for those of us in the north around the Suwannee River Valley. So still staying pretty nice out there, but definitely a little bit cooler for those of us in the northern counties. Those have a lot of bundle up in the morning. This week's big headline is we're definitely getting a little bit of a warm up. Take a look at this high tomorrow, 82 degrees right here in Gainesville. Dry and clear. This warm up does continue throughout the rest of the week as well and gets warmer. We'll see Ocala in just a second. 82 degrees the high temperature here in Gainesville again, 81 in Ocala and 83 in Bronson, staying probably around closer to the mid-80s in Levy County, a little bit closer to the water. And as the rest of the week goes on in Ocala, look at that, around 84 degrees on Friday, definitely about 5 to 6 degrees above our average temperatures for this time of year. And then if we get to the middle of the week, we're actually going to see a little bit of fog. You'll want to be careful going on your way to work because it's definitely, the visibility is going to be a little bit variable out there and actually pretty low as a matter of fact. It's about 5 a.m. Wednesday morning. Pretty foggy out there. Temperatures around the mid-50s. That fog does start to clear up around the 7:30 a.m. hour, but just something to be aware of as you head to work. Really nice weather for the rest of the week, but I'll have one final look at your forecast in about 10 minutes.
Thanksgiving is in 10 days, and travelers already have a reason to be thankful. The FAA says its flight cuts will end at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. As Amy Kiley reports, they affected at least 4% of air traffic at 40 major airports.
I think we're going to have a smooth, hopefully, Thanksgiving travel season.
Airlines are resuming their normal schedules in the U.S. today. The FAA says it's lifting flight restrictions that affected 40 major airports during the government shutdown. A joint statement from that agency and the Transportation Secretary cites, quote, safety trends and the steady decline of staffing trigger events in air traffic control facilities.
It does appear that air traffic controllers are working. The call-outs are minimal, and they're all getting bonuses now if they came to work. So I think the morale there is up, as well as the TSA.
Union leaders say it was hard for air traffic controllers to work full-time without pay during the shutdown.
The stresses, the pressure, the fatigue is setting in. Air traffic controllers are texting, I don't even have enough money to put gas in my car to come to work.
The news might be a relief for people flying over Thanksgiving weekend. That's the busiest air travel period of the year, according to TSA data. Experts say passengers should still check airline apps for delays or cancellations, but for more typical reasons.
I think the things we should be looking out for are weather-related incidents that could kind of throw the system out of whack or outages. But overall, I think things are looking good.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
High grocery prices and tariffs could spoil your Thanksgiving menu this year. That's because the cost of some key holiday staples are up. These rising costs come as many people are already struggling to afford food. Jan Sullivan explains why your holiday meal will likely cost more this year.
Outside the King Center in Atlanta, long lines of cars as people wait for free food to be handed out at this Thanksgiving food drive.
This is going to make a tremendous difference.
Miss Williams works part-time, but she says it's not enough to put food on her table. And it's not just Thanksgiving she worries about.
It's every day. It's tonight. I need dinner for tonight.
Her story is like so many others as the cost of food continues to rise.
We've seen an increased need. We've seen seniors coming that need assistance. We've seen families.
The government shutdown put a strain on already busy food banks, with millions of food stamp recipients not receiving assistance through the federally funded Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program known as SNAP, and hundreds of thousands of federal workers not getting paid. But rising food costs are making groceries more expensive for everyone.
But for many families, they're still struggling to put food on their table and keep that roof over their heads.
Average grocery prices are up nearly 3% from last September, according to the latest Consumer Price Index report. Prices for key Thanksgiving staples like potatoes, meats, fresh vegetables, and bakery products are all up. And tariffs have caused the price of many imported items like wine to jump. One wine store says prices are 5 to 12% higher this year. There is some good news. On Friday, President Donald Trump signed an executive order that retroactively lowered tariffs on beef, tomatoes, coffee, and bananas, as well as other products coming from agricultural imports. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Up next, when WUFT Midday returns, the defending champions win in dominating fashion against the Hurricanes in Jacksonville last night.
The major keys to their victory and how they plan to ride this momentum into their next matchup.
I'm Abigail Dressback. Welcome to your Midday Sports. The reigning champs got off to a rocky start with a loss to Arizona. However, since then, they've had 3 wins in a row. Last night, the Gators devoured the Canes in an interstate matchup in Jacksonville with a final score of 82-68. 2 of the bigs that returned from last year were key components to the Gators' victory. Alex Condon had a great game last night with 19 points. Thomas Houck also had a game with 17 points, 8 rebounds, and a total of 37 minutes played in the game. He leads the Gators with an average of 19 points per game. He's also top 3 in assists and rebounds per game. The Gators traveled to Oxford to face the Rebels on Saturday. Despite a lead at the half, they ended up falling short 34-24 in front of head coach prospect Lane Kiffin. With the game ending in a 10-point loss, you wouldn't know that the Gators put up a fight to stay in the game. Quarterback DJ Lagway had his first rushing touchdown of his college career in his 17th college game. In a last attempt to make their way down the field, down by 3 in the 4th, Florida wasn't able to pull off the comeback, losing their 3rd straight.
He was playing really good, put us in a position to where we were at, and
Obviously, we got to continue to make great decisions. But he did a really good job of putting us in position where we needed to be at the end of the game.
Florida's women's basketball team started off 4-0 with their first loss being 69-54 to Navy on Sunday. The Gators were without star point guard Liv McGill, who missed the game due to a leg injury. I'm Abigail Dressback, and that's your Midday Sports. Now back to Catherine and Oriana.
Now let's take a look at what's coming up on First at 5 on Channel 5.
Our UF weather team is continuing to track dry conditions and fires in our area. Plus, one organization is spreading cheer in time for the holidays. Find out how the Salvation Army is helping families create Christmas magic. And listen to one barbershop's mission to give its customers fresh fades and healthy hearts. That and more tonight at 5. You know, speaking of those weather conditions, it was feeling pretty dry out there this morning. Aiden, tell us if these conditions are going to last.
Yeah, these dry conditions certainly will last throughout the rest of the week. We'll take a look at our forecast. It's actually going to be pretty cool out there tonight with that cold front rolling through. It'll be at its driest tonight, and then we should get a little bit more humid air this week, but as we get later into the week, it's really not that humid out still. 51 degrees as low as we'll go for the rest of the week tonight. A little bit more cloud cover maybe as we get into the overnight hours, but still not really any rain to worry about. That's what matters. You can put the umbrella away probably for the rest of the week here. Thursday through Saturday in Ocala, that warm-up, you can see it right there on your screen. 83, 84 degrees on Friday, and then Saturday maybe a slight cool down, but still a little bit warmer than we usually are for this time of year. So these above average temperatures should continue into the weekend and maybe even into the next week. The Climate Prediction Center had that scheduled out for next week, but again, looking really nice out there. Just be careful of some fog on the way to work Wednesday and Thursday.
Thanks for joining us for WFT Midday. We're back here tomorrow for another edition.
We will see you later today for First at 5 on Channel 5. Have a great afternoon.